Hey there, fellow gamers, and welcome to the channel. When a new IP pops up, you tend to keep an eye on it. Such was the case with Scarlet Nexus. I kept an eye on it for a while to see if it's the type of game I might be interested in, and it ended up being one of the few games I bought this year at launch. Let's see if it was any good. Scarlet Nexus is a third-person action RPG set in the distant future, where mankind lives under a constant threat from strange beings called Others. You have a choice to play as one of two new members of the military force that fights these creatures. Combat is the star of this game. Yes, there's a lengthy story, the visuals look really nice, and the music is serviceable, but ultimately it's the quality of the combat system that will keep you playing. And the combat system is excellent. Each of the two playable characters has their own team of companions. You never control any of them directly, but you do borrow their powers during combat all the time. And that's the core of the combat system in Scarlet Nexus. Your main character has the basic set of light and heavy attacks as well as evasion, but the thing that makes the combat unique, fun and challenging is borrowing the right companion's power at the right time and later on even combining multiple powers at the same time to take down different enemy types. And there are more than enough enemy types to keep the combat encounters interesting. As for the playable characters themselves, Yuito, our male protagonist, is a sword-wielding melee fighter, while Kasane, the female lead, is a knife-throwing mid-range fighter. They are team members and their powers differ, but there are a couple that fulfill functionally the same purpose. For example, both Yuito and Kasane have a team member that allows them to deal with a certain super-fast and elusive enemy type. Yuito's companion offers the ability to teleport around the battlefield, while Kasane can borrow hypervelocity. Then again, there are other companions in their teams that offer wildly different powers such as clairvoyance or duplication. Each protagonist comes with their own extensive skill tree where you can unlock new moves and various passive bonuses as you level up. This includes the ability to borrow 2 and later 4 powers at the same time. You can also change the equipment of the entire character roster, upgrading their weapons or adding plugins that offer additional passive bonuses, like increased health. The game also offers a few unlockable outfits and various attachments for cosmetic customization. Another element that affects the combat system is the bond level you have with each companion. Namely, between main missions you can talk to your companions in your hideout, give them gifts, and play out bond episodes in order to increase the bond level for each of them. There are 6 bond levels, and each either upgrades something related to the ability that companion offers, or adds a new move your companion can perform to help you out in combat. The bond leveling system, while optional, is very much worth doing considering the gameplay benefits it brings, but at the same time, it is one of the more tedious gameplay systems present here. The reason for that is that the writing and tone of each Bond episode varies significantly from silly to cringy to actually really good, while getting up gifts for those final 1 or 2 Bond levels can be a grind. Speaking of writing in Scarlet Nexus in general, I would say that it has a lot of interesting ideas, but the execution of those ideas results in a story that can seem a bit convoluted, oddly structured, and a bit bloated at times. One perfect example, without giving out any detailed spoilers, is at the end of the prologue section. Both protagonists witness something happen to a certain character and get a clue that may eventually unravel a large conspiracy. This is actually where the two protagonists go their separate ways and the story branches off to justify 2 separate playthroughs. However, only one of the 2 characters will follow through on that plotline while the other protagonist will get their own conspiracy subplot to resolve. At the end, they will reunite and join their teams into one, so from a gameplay perspective, you will get to try out all the available companion powers before the end. I would say that despite the flaws in the story execution, the game is still well worth playing through with both protagonists, if for no other reason than because the combat is so fun and fluid. The voice acting is pretty good, at least in Japanese. This game has a very anime vibe, so I definitely recommend going with the Japanese voice option for the full experience. Scarlet Nexus also offers some side quests apart from the main story and Bond episodes. Almost all of these can and should be ignored, as they are very basic fetch quests or mini challenges and are generally very tedious. The only ones worth doing are several endgame ones, which provide materials you can use to buy the best weapons for all available characters in the game. From a technical standpoint, the PC version is very good. Performance has been smooth as butter for me from start to finish. The keyboard and mouse work really well here, and the key remapping options are done well. It takes about 50 to 60 hours to finish 2 playthroughs, one with each protagonist, and I managed to bump that up to around 77 hours for another playthrough and some achievement hunting. Finishing the game once also unlocks a New Game Plus mode, where you can keep everything you unlocked for the selected protagonist and companions on a previous playthrough. All in all, Scarlet Nexus is a game with a flawed story execution, but with extremely fun combat as its core gameplay. If that sounds like it could work for you, consider giving it a chance.
If you found this helpful, leave a like. If you didn't, well, leave the other thing. If you have some time, leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you around.